According to the Daily Signal, Fox News employees are allowed to use bathrooms that align with their gender identity inside the building, rather than their biological sex. And they must be addressed by their preferred name and pronouns in the workplace. Fox is proud to be aligned with the Human Rights Campaign, receiving a perfect score on the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, a report measuring corporate policies and practices related to LGBTQ plus workplace equality. You're starting to kind of get a feeling here about maybe why Tucker was fired and how it's changing over at Fox, the brand we've known for so long.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Newsmax host Rob Schmitt slammed rival channel's human relations policy recently. Rob Schmitt started off his broadcast going after Fox News employees who are allowed to use bathrooms that align with their gender identity inside the buildings at Fox. He and his panel aim to portray Fox as being woke with deliberate mischaracterization of facts. Schmitt didn't stop at the restrooms at Fox. He poked fun at Fox leadership and tried to portray the channel as being aligned with the Human Rights Campaign. The Human Rights Campaign that is responsible for things like measuring corporate policies and practices related to LGBTQ plus workplace equality.
I kind of think Roger Ailes is rolling over in his grave right now, Rob.
I'd say so.
This is not the Fox that you and I knew very well. I understand that they might feel the need to comply with New York City human rights law, which calls for similar open bathroom policies for people who say they identify as a different sex. But personally, I would have an issue if there are women in a restroom and a biological male who says he identifies as a woman goes in and to use that restroom. And what I think is the most shocking about this is that if the women in the restroom don't like it, if they're uncomfortable, they're the ones who have to go and use a single-use restroom, not the guy who wants to use the women's restroom. So the women are the ones who are being kicked out.
Schmitt and company tried to conclude that Fox's employee handbook was the reason Tucker Carlson got canned. Schmitt openly misrepresented federal ADA requirements and sexual harassment guidelines as something that was somehow silly. Former Fox reporter Rick Leventhal crawled out from under his rock to lend a false sense of credibility to the moronic interview. Leventhal said that Roger Ailes is rolling over in his grave right now. That is not the Fox that you and I knew. The Equal Employment Opportunity Center defines workplace harassment as it is unlawful to harass a person, an applicant or employee, because of that person's sex. Harassment can include offensive remarks about a person's sex as well. Schmitt and Leventhal's attempt to portray a company's code of conduct as a punchline is despicable. Every federal employee has to read and comply with the set code of conduct in the workplace. This is not some radical new idea.
What this all really boils down to, this is just one example of this big, woke machine that has all of these massive companies, which Fox is, a massive company that's publicly traded, and it's got, everybody's mortified.
I don't really understand it. It almost feels like bullying at this point, that the people who say they need to be protected are now forcing their beliefs on the people around them. And listen, I fully support anyone who wants to change their gender once they've reached a mature enough age to make those kinds of decisions. If you want to change your gender, that's fine. But if people are uncomfortable with someone who's still a biological male being in a ladies' room, I think the law is backwards. I think that those people who decide they want to change their sex should use the single-serve bathroom unless and until they actually do become a woman in all. I don't even know how you describe that, but you know what I'm saying.
we all know how complicated it is. Whatever you've got, under your belt probably should align with what bathroom you're in, I guess, is probably what it should be.
Schmitt and Leventhal want viewers to fear what they don't understand. They want viewers to identify with their transphobic ramblings and vilify ADA restroom guidelines and sexual harassment policy in exchange for useless misinformation and opinions. Both Schmitt and Leventhal are under a code of conduct in their own pathetic workplace. They are absolute morons to attack employees of any other organization over their HR policies, and that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.